Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine. Time to shine the light on men's gymnastics here at the Academy with head coach Kip Simons. You've been here 4 years now. Team has certainly accomplished some goals along the way. But first question I got to ask you, how do you get number one Oklahoma to come compete here against you guys? Because they could certainly flex their muscle and say, hey, if you want to compete with us, come to Norman. How did you get them to come to Annapolis?
Well, actually, we started the home at home by going to Norman last year. So we kind of went their way. It was a great opportunity to head out to Oklahoma and kind of show that part of the country who we were and get a chance to get in front of judges from that part of the country. And more importantly, from a recruiting standpoint, to go down to Oklahoma where they have very good junior gymnasts and have the opportunity to represent Navy in Oklahoma, and then they returned the favor and came back this year. So it was a pretty special night having them in the house last weekend.
Kind of an underrated part of your answer, especially as you go along and your guys compete at higher levels here and certainly at the NCAA level. The importance of getting in front of judges who may not see your program, see your guys, and obviously what are the advantages to at least getting them in front of those people, and maybe in terms of how you coach them and continue to build with them, getting scored by some other people that they don't see on a regular basis.
That's right, and these judges will be at the NCAA championship, so it's important, I think, to have eyes on from the judges out there, and so that way when we see them here in about another 3 or 4 weeks out at University of Illinois for the NCAA championships, they know who Navy is, at this point, and they've seen us, and we're sitting in number 10 in the country, and we certainly want to go in and finish in the top 10 in the country.
For you, obviously, Service Academy not foreign to you after spending 10 years at the Air Force Academy, but being here now, your 4th year in Annapolis, what has that transition been like? And as you've continued to build this program and incrementally the program gets better and better, what's been the key to that?
I would say coaching staff and recruiting. Coach Craig Holt's been here for 20 years, and he's a phenomenal part of our success. And also we brought in a young gentleman actually from Norman, Colin Payne, and he's been with the program for 2 years now. And so, as we start to gel together and sync up as a coaching staff, I think that's kind of one of the keys to our success. And and then recruiting and. The guys were hungry. When I got here, the guys were, it was kind of a little concerning because there were 10 seniors my first year, and they could have easily kind of bucked the system and said, we're not going to buy into, I got 1 year left and I'm going to ride this out. But they were hungry, and they kind of set the tone, those 10 guys that, listen, if and it's that trust piece. If we trust the coaches, they've done it before, and I think the trust of the athletes, the coaching staff, and recruiting has certainly been a huge part of our success.
When you identify potential student athletes, the fact that you were at Air Force before, did that help hit the ground running because you knew what kind of student athletes you had to look for, obviously, to meet the obligations of the Naval Academy?
You bet, yeah. When I first went out to Air Force, I was coming from Cal Berkeley, and so I was used to recruiting, California kids, with that California mindset to Berkeley. So it was a big change going to Air Force Academy. But coming from Air Force to here, you know who you're looking for. Somebody that's got the character, the academic prowess to succeed here and wants to serve their country. And so that was a huge part of it. Different markets, though. Here on the East Coast, we go up and down the East Coast. But Texas and California are still kind of some of the hotbeds for gymnastics. And so we try to get our hands into those markets.
When you first got here to where you are now, have you had to change a lot of things, or have you just had to gradually build on the building blocks you put in place and the mindset you tried to create and culture right away as you came here?
Yeah. Just continue to evolve. I think when you feel like you have all the pieces of the puzzle and you've got it all figured out, then you're going to be stagnant. And so for me, every year I try to bust apart the system and tweak the things that can get better and just continue to evolve as a coach. And there's no one system that's going to work, even from team to team or year to year. The system that we ran this year is working very well, but the dynamic of the team is going to be different next year, and we'll have new guys, and so we're going to have to tweak some things based on that team and who they are.
How does Kip Simons, the high-level performer as a gymnast, separate himself from the coach as he tries to evaluate his personnel, coach them, play to their strengths, try to maybe even push them, beyond their limits a little bit and their comfort level, but having been a high-level competitor, how do you separate the two so the competitor in you doesn't necessarily dominate the coaching side of you because you've been in that position as the athlete before?
Sure. You know, these guys are just hungry. They want to be led. And to me, that's coaching. You know, it doesn't matter if you're coaching somebody to make an Olympic team or you're coaching somebody just to be the best that they can be, really. And so, you know, I use the same drive, you know, and the hard work ethic that was instilled in me from my parents and that I used to be successful as an athlete. And I use that same mindset to go in every day and push the guys because they're hungry, you know, and they just want everything that you got. They're sponges, and that's all I ask for is I feel like I have some knowledge. I've been there. You know, just be open to our suggestions, our recommendations, and they are. And so we push hard.
Who's been responsible for providing that leadership for you? Because as a coach, you can only say so many things. You're going to need sometimes the athletes to help police the room a little bit. Who's been responsible for some of that leadership? Because obviously you guys have established a tremendous culture and continue to build on it year by year.
Sure. You know, the seniors, all four of them, you know, we've got four firsties out there, and obviously Christian Coriel as the captain has been phenomenal. You know, I've been fortunate. I'm a Pennsylvania guy. My last 2 years of captains have been Pennsylvania guys, so we get along real well, and the synergy between the team captain and myself is very good. And so, you know, Squirt's, he's going to hold him accountable. He doesn't put up with anything. The guys know, and they have a great relationship between the athletes and the team captain, and then, of course, team captain and myself. But, you know, also we have a mentor program within the program where I ask each of the guys to find a mentor on the yard, and that's somebody that they meet with once a month to just talk anything, you know, outside of the gym, life out in the fleet. And so, you know, I think that allows them to, you know, have that mentor and have that person that they can go to and aspire to be, and you know, holds them accountable.
How do you finish up strong here and obviously achieve your goals getting back to the NCAAs?
You know, we were off last weekend, so anytime you're off, it just means a lot of training. And so we trained hard for 6 days last week. This week is a short week with the competition on Friday. Thursday will be a light day. So really, we only have 3 days of training this week. Next week, same thing, going out to conference up in Springfield. It'll be a 3-day week. So we have very short weeks. You know, at this point, the intensity is through the roof. The volume is down. And, you know, we got to manage their bodies, manage their minds. But the physical preparation is done. You know, it's all the mental side of things. And that's something that I really enjoy, is being able to get that out of them, that, you know, to find their calm, you know, find in the middle of the storm, the tornado, you know, it's going to be a storm, and to find your calm seconds before you go up and execute your routine. And so we're really focused on the mental side of things here as we push these last 3 weeks and keeping them healthy. You know, our depth has been huge with keeping them healthy, because we've been able to splice in some of our younger guys throughout the year, and so now, you know, our horses are rested and ready to go.
All right, appreciate the time. Continued success as you all finish up strong here in the spring.
Great, thanks, Pete.
All right, Kip Simons joining us
Appreciate
here on the Navy Sports Magazine.